We are on, I want to say happy Sunday. Welcome to Sunday Connect. If you are joining me and this is the first time that you've ever had an encounter with me, then hi, how you doing? My name is Adrienne Allen. They call me Misunderstood Adrienne. A lot of reasons for the misunderstood. However, a lot of people started out with a misunderstanding and then they realized later on in life, oh, I get it. That's who she is. So I say, welcome. If you do not know, I am the author of the book Surviving Tough Times, which actually is about to do this big old tumbleweed turn around about and say, hey guys, welcome here. This is a relaunch of it, but it's relaunch with programs. So now is just like the preamble of all of the things so we can understand that what it looks like to survive, what it looks like to be the example of surviving, what it looks like to even have you ever been like in the moment and it's not been the greatest of the moment? Like you don't see the outcome, you're just in it. I kind of call it like waiting in the hallway type of thing. When one door closes, we're always waiting for the other one to open. The difference is it doesn't automatically just open up another door because one door closed. And what we have to learn how to do is sometimes we have to learn how to wait for the next door to open. And in between time, there might be some things that we can look at. There might be some things that we can actually fix or work on. Things like personal development, self-development, professional development. A lot of things happen in the moment of the wait. The difference is, do we understand that that's what we're supposed to be doing in that moment? Do we understand that we're not supposed to give up all hope? We're supposed to actually rest on the fact that we do have hope and we do believe. And when you can't see anything else, sometimes that's all you can go off of. And so for some people, that just has to be enough. And this afternoon, what I would like to do on Sunday is because of the fact that in September, we are touching surviving the tough times every day. The reason why we're touching it every day is because I need it to be more and more prevalent in everyone's minds that we are doing just that. We are surviving tough times. This is not our first, this is not our second, this is not our third time looking at situations that we really thought we couldn't make it through back then. But now, looking at where we are now, we know that we can. And sometimes we just need a strong reminder. And what I believe surviving tough times is going to become just that reminder that when you fall off course, it's good that you're falling off course because sometimes you need to get off course so that you can realize that there is a door, there is a course, and that there's a spot for you on that course. So then you have to kind of like I said, you got to do some self-checking. We live in a world where everyone wants to check everything. Trust me, I believe that the only people that can check themselves right now are the people that can be checked. I can't check you the way that I would like to check you without checking myself first. So the first step in surviving tough times on your March Get Set Go is that everyone needs to get a self check. We got 30 days of just going in and understanding something in a different light. A lot of us are realizing that we are so much alike and they spit so many differences to us that sometimes we are just caught up in the fact that the people told us that we're not supposed to like this person or that person. But when you really have conversation with the person and you realize that they just said something that sounded like it came out of your mouth, but it didn't come out of your mouth, it came out of my mouth. But you're so different, yet so close together. So without further ado, what I would like to do is go into day 11 and day 12 so we can wrap up our weekend and be ready for day 13 to start off our week and in stride, because that's what we need to do. So day 11 is all limits are placed by mortals. The mere existence of abundance is a solution to most problems. So why is it that humans suffer from a lack of scarcity? It's because of our obsession with limitations that we can't enjoy or accept abundance. We are unable to make sense of things without placing limits around them. Like to perceive a plate, you must actually see where it ends. To know what kindness is, you must understand what it is not. This system is perception is great for the material world and its reality, but it fails us when we do. Unlike mortal forms, you cannot place limits around God. Even though it might help you perceive him, it will be an inaccurate image. Unfortunately, we have collectively subscribed to limit image of God. A God defined by limitations of group belief isn't a true reflection of our creator. Jesus remembers through the limits of mortal groupthink isn't the true reflection of our savior. It is time for you to rise above the limitations of groupthink and belief and invite abundance into your life. More importantly, it is time to connect to God on a personal level by shedding things, layers of misunderstanding, limiting God's love. We wouldn't naturally love those who wronged us, and we surely wouldn't love those who disobey us in regular. But that's how we love. That's how our love is different from the love of Jesus. Then why is it that we limit divine love the same way? We do. And why do we insist on existing or extending God's love to only those who believe in the same way that we do? Remember that love comes before acceptance. And that's what makes it special. That God's love even those who hasn't accepted him yet. Limiting communication to God. You can talk to me by dialing into my radio show, and you can also email me. And whenever you think of getting in touch with me, you're going to think of a way to get in touch. And that's how we mortals communicate, through a limit of physics. But when we think of getting in touch with God, we don't have to assume of similar limitations. This is a beauty of being in the army of the creator of heavens and earth. You can connect with him every moment of every day. Church has an esteemed place, but its role is not to be the limiter of your communication with God. In fact, by bringing connectivity to God in every aspect of your life, you live a more Christian experience. Let today be the day where you rise above the limitations of groupthink. Forget about whatever your community and surroundings have programmed you to believe in terms of limitations. When you connect to God, it is without limitations. So close your eyes and think about every way that you have let groupthink limit your perception of God. And have you limited your ask of God? Have you assumed exclusions of God's love? And have you held back conversations with God in a specific company? Visualize a flood of limitless possibilities, destroying all of those obstacles, and feel connected to him now. And remember, all limits are placed by mortals. When we can understand that, there's nothing that we can't do. Anyone that tells you that you want to do something and they're listening to you, and the first thing and the only thing they can tell you is how you can't do it or how it won't be done, you make conscious decisions to walk away from people like that. Get away from them. Why? Because they're putting a block on they're putting a limit on what it is that God has already said that you're going to do. So when we connect with what it is that he's told us that we can do and the power that we have inside of us, then we have the ability to go ahead and do what it is that we said we're going to do. Sit back and watch me watch. Just watch me. If you don't believe me, then watch me. I think it was Bruno Mars that said it. If you don't believe me, just watch. In 2021, they're powerful words because we're living in a world where we were watching people die only a year ago. Literally, are the questions I were asking was, are you dying today? Are you in that number? Because if you're in that number, then maybe you don't need to hear things of this nature because you're already signed up for the demise. But if you're still living this thing and you're still trying to make an example, and you're still trying to be the change that you really want to see, and you know that you have a reason for what you've gone through in your life, and you still have time to tell your story, then I encourage you. That's why we say that all limits are placed on mortals. But then that runs me into day 12, which is today. And day 12 says why we talk differently about God. People don't understand it, but a lot of us say that we believe in something, but we have no conversation about him. So therefore, if we have no conversation about it or how it's working in our lives or what we need to go to the next level in him, we don't really profess what it is that we're supposed to be professing for the next person to get the message so that they then too can be able to profess those things and keep differently about God. Think of the last time that you hung out with your friends. Did you gossip about your other friends? Did you discuss the news? Whatever the concept and whatever the conversation was, I can almost guarantee that you talked about every topic with similar ease. But whenever a conversation about God comes up, it becomes a different type of conversation. Our demeanors and our attitudes and our voices change. How willing others are to listen also changes. And for many of us, how willing we are to talk about Him changes. In this article, I really like you to look at the underlying reasons so we can invite God into our lives, souls, having a human experience. A lot of human experience depends on the material. That includes material wealth, material reality, and all of the problems associated with it too. We have jobs, friends, and drama, stepping from them material conditions. But because we see God in a spiritual context, we try to place him in a box where he isn't a part of any of the conversations associated with materials. Ironically, he is the creator of this material reality, so which we aren't willing to share with him. Remember that in the absence of the word, nothing exists. So start easing him to your mentality and make all of your material experiences spiritual. No wonder people feel guilty about making money. They exclude God from conversations about money. You can use the money for good. And in fact, it's a very hard not to use the money for good, even when you use it for your business, you're serving his children and employing them. But when you don't talk about God the same way that you do about money, you are held back from pursuing money. We prioritize people. The moment we edit ourselves based on people around us, the people become our prison. Generally, our prisons are comfortable enough that we won't feel confined. For example, if you may not feel oppressed when you can't openly support a conversation because of their presence. But if being a conservative is your whole identity, you'll feel imprisoned hanging out with these people. And as a result, you choose your friends based on what you can't help but talk about. And if you love sports, you'll find people who love talking about. And as long as you share that, you can let that go and things they don't want to hear about. Many of us have many friendships in times where God wasn't or isn't such a huge part in our lives. But now that we invite him in our life as to those conversations. So let today be the day where you ask yourself, do I prioritize my friends enough to limit my conversations about the Lord? My humble suggestion is to ease him into the conversation. Praise him when you talk about your next promotion. Credit him when you show kindness to a friend. And you don't have to preach to them. Just stop censoring God in them and with them and for them and through them. How is it that you can look at life without God? We've done so much and made it so available to say or give honor to God. That becomes the unacceptable service in our lives. So how do we survive through tough times? We have to acknowledge where acknowledgement is due. You got to give God his due. We wouldn't be standing here the way that we're standing here if it wasn't for him. We wouldn't be going through the things that we're going through if it wasn't for him. Even if they were bad things, do you understand that bad things happen so that it makes you better at what you're doing? If you never had the bad experiences, you wouldn't be able to speak on half the things that you want to speak on. I know if I didn't have the crazy world in my life, if I didn't have the crazy grow up in my life, I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell you that, guess what? As crazy as you think that is, he's doing exactly what he needs to do in his life for you, in your life for you right now, whether you like it or not. The sooner we acknowledge it, the easier it is to travel along the journey. So I invite you and I encourage you to go and get your copy of Surviving Tough Times And I appreciate you for staying with me for a little bit of time this afternoon on this beautiful Sunday. And go Eagles. I think we just took the first one and put it in the book. If this is the rest of the season, I'll see y'all at the end. But other than that, shout out Home Life Entertainment. Rise one more time again. It's always great to have football season, but it's also always good to have you listening. So thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to like it and share it. And yeah, send someone else send someone else to know that they too can make it. They too have made it through their tough times. And if they would like to talk, you can always reach out to me. I want to be so available that I have a new Yahoo or Yahoo page, yahoo.com. Email me. Let's talk. Let's get to an understanding. Let's make things a lot better for you, which then inhales will trickle down into the rest of your family. So don't forget, if you need me, email me at misunderstoodadrienne@yahoo.com. ADRIENNE@yahoo.com. I look forward to speaking with you and enjoy the rest of your day.